Duggar news. Amy Duggar King ready to expose the Duggars again, announces tell-all memoir. Amy Duggar King is once again stepping into the spotlight, this time with a bold literary project that promises to stir discussions and possibly controversies. The Duggar cousin has officially announced the upcoming release of her debut memoir titled Holy Disruptor, and it's already generating significant attention due to its premise, a tell-all that dives into her life, faith, and complicated relationship with her famous family. The memoir, which Amy says will be raw, unfiltered, and honest, is slated for release later this year. For years, Amy has maintained a delicate balance between being close to the Duggar family and openly disagreeing with some of the teachings and practices they follow. With Holy Disruptor, it appears she is prepared to completely pull back the curtain and speak her truth, regardless of the reaction it may provoke from both fans and critics alike. Amy Duggar King has never been a conventional Duggar. Though she appeared on the family's hit reality shows such as 19 Kids and Counting, she was often referred to as the rebel cousin, someone who participated in the family's events but lived a much less restrictive lifestyle. Unlike her famous cousins, Amy did not adhere to the same ultra-conservative dress codes or courtship rules, and she never hesitated to voice her differing opinions. Her new memoir, Holy Disruptor, is described as a personal exploration of faith, identity, and resilience. According to Amy, the book does not serve merely as a criticism of her family's lifestyle, but instead as a reflection on what it means to find one's voice in a system that discourages individuality. In her announcement, Amy stated, "This isn't a book of revenge, it's a book of release." She noted that writing the memoir was a deeply emotional process, one she believes was necessary for her own healing. This isn't the first time Amy Duggar King has challenged the Duggar family publicly. In recent years, she has been increasingly vocal about issues like religious extremism, the importance of therapy, and advocating for abuse survivors, topics that indirectly and sometimes directly clash with the beliefs espoused by the Institute in Basic Life Principles, the religious group that the Duggars have long followed. Following the arrest and conviction of Josh Duggar on child pornography charges, Amy did not hesitate to speak out. She called for justice, expressed support for the victims, and urged her cousin Anna Duggar to reevaluate her situation. At times, her comments drew criticism from fans who felt she was capitalizing on family scandal, but Amy remained steadfast in her stance that silence was not an option. Now, with Holy Disruptor, she is compiling her perspective into a comprehensive narrative. The memoir, according to preliminary descriptions, includes reflections on her upbringing, family pressures, her faith journey, and how she built her own identity outside the shadow of the Duggar name. Though the full manuscript has yet to be released to the public, Amy has shared that the book will cover the following topics: faith and deconstruction. Amy describes a journey of rediscovering her faith apart from rigid fundamentalism. She hopes to show readers that belief in God can coexist with questions, freedom, and personal growth. Family dynamics. The memoir will include anecdotes and insights into the family structure, control mechanisms, and cultural expectations that shaped the Duggar world, and how Amy resisted being molded by them. Empowerment and independence. Amy talks about setting boundaries, finding her voice, and the importance of walking away from environments that suppress individuality. Motherhood and marriage. Amy will also reflect on her personal life with husband Dillon King and their son, Daxton, offering a contrast to the family model she grew up around. Public scrutiny and identity. Living under the spotlight came with challenges. Amy addresses how fame affected her mental health and how she's learned to separate her true self from her public persona. Amy also emphasizes that this book is not a gossip column. "I didn't write this to tear people down. I wrote this to lift myself up, and hopefully, give others permission to do the same," she said in a statement. Following her announcement, public reaction has been divided. Many fans have expressed excitement and appreciation for Amy's transparency and courage. Social media comments were flooded with messages of support, particularly from readers who have left conservative religious environments and see Amy's story as a form of validation. However, critics argue that Amy is once again using her family's name to garner attention. Some Duggar supporters believe that such a memoir only brings unnecessary negativity and division. While Amy has not named specific family members as targets in her memoir, the Duggar brand is so widely known that any criticism of its values will likely be interpreted as personal. Still, Amy appears unfazed by the potential backlash. She has stated that speaking up has come at a cost, but the price of silence was too high. Holy Disruptor is being published by an independent publisher with a focus on inspirational and memoir content. The book is set for release in fall 2025, with pre-orders already available online. According to the publisher, the book will feature personal photos, handwritten notes, and journal entries from Amy's formative years. Amy has also hinted at a possible book tour or promotional appearances tied to the release. In addition to press interviews, she may explore podcast discussions and digital platforms to engage with readers more directly. Amy Duggar King's memoir arrives at a time when interest in the Duggar family remains high, not just because of their past TV fame, but due to the ongoing public conversation about religious trauma, power dynamics, and personal agency. In the wake of the Shiny Happy People documentary, which explored the Duggars and the IBLP, Amy's book serves as yet another voice in what appears to be a growing chorus of individuals calling for transparency and accountability within religious communities. Her story echoes the accounts of others who have stepped away from high-control environments and are now advocating for change. Amy's unique position as both an insider and outsider gives her memoir added relevance. She lived close enough to see the inner workings of the Duggar world, yet remained independent enough to question it. This duality may offer readers a rare and nuanced perspective that is often missing from more sensationalized tell-alls. Ultimately, Amy wants readers to walk away from Holy Disruptor with a sense of empowerment. Her central message is about reclaiming one's voice and living authentically, even if it means standing alone. This is for anyone who has felt silenced, for anyone who was told they were too loud, too bold, too different. You are not the problem, Amy said in a social media post promoting the book. You're not a disruption, you're a holy one. That phrase, Holy Disruptor, is meant to encapsulate the essence of Amy's journey. Someone who questions not to destroy, but to rebuild. Someone who challenges systems not out of hate, but out of hope for something healthier. Amy has not ruled out the possibility of future projects. While she's focused on the release of Holy Disruptor at the moment, she has expressed interest in advocacy work, particularly in the areas of women's empowerment, mental health, and religious trauma recovery. She also continues to maintain an active presence on social media, where she frequently shares motivational content, family updates, and candid reflections on faith and healing. Fans of her candid style can expect that her online presence will only grow as interest in her memoir builds. Whether Holy Disruptor becomes a bestseller or simply resonates with a niche audience, it's clear that Amy Duggar King has made a deliberate decision to own her narrative. In a world where silence is often the path of least resistance, Amy is choosing instead to speak. And according to her, she's just getting started. Amy Duggar King announces bold debut memoir, Holy Disruptor. Amy Duggar King, a familiar name among reality television audiences, has stepped into a new chapter of her public life with the announcement of her first ever memoir, Holy Disruptor. Known for her appearances on TLC's 19 Kids and Counting, and as a cousin to the Duggar family, Amy is now choosing to share her personal story in a format that allows her to speak directly, freely, and without interruption. The release of this memoir marks a significant moment not only for Amy personally, but also for the broader conversation around reality TV fame, individuality, and personal faith. The title Holy Disruptor itself suggests a departure from convention. Amy positions herself not as a rebel for the sake of rebellion, but as someone compelled by her conscience and spiritual convictions to speak up. While she has long been labeled the black sheep of the Duggar family, Amy appears to be embracing that narrative and redefining it on her own terms. According to her announcement, this book will not be a vindictive tell-all, but rather an honest exploration of her life, values, and the emotional journey that led her to where she is now. Amy shared news of her memoir through social media, revealing the cover and opening up about the writing process. The cover itself is bold, with vibrant colors and typography that evoke strength and independence. Her fans and followers responded enthusiastically, expressing both surprise and support. For many, the announcement confirmed what had long been suspected, that Amy had more to say than what was shown on television or heard through scattered interviews. In her promotional statements, Amy noted that Holy Disruptor will reflect her God-given voice, a phrase that captures both her religious upbringing and her personal evolution. She stated clearly that her intent is not to attack, but to provide clarity. She wants her story to stand as a testimony of courage, change, and the strength it takes to live authentically. Her approach emphasizes storytelling over scandal, reflection over revenge. Amy's relationship with the Duggar family has been publicly complicated. Though she appeared on 19 Kids and Counting, she was never part of the same strict conservative environment that defined the Duggar household. Her upbringing differed in key ways, which she suggests gave her a more flexible and expressive worldview. Over time, she's taken subtle and sometimes not so subtle stances on issues of faith, parenting, and personal freedom, setting her apart from her more conservative relatives. Holy Disruptor promises to detail Amy's experience growing up adjacent to the Duggar spotlight while maintaining her own identity. She intends to delve into her struggles, triumphs, and the emotional complexities of navigating family, faith, and fame. She has hinted at topics including the pressure of living up to a public persona, the pain of judgment both inside and outside the family, and the fulfillment that comes from finding one's own path. One key element of the memoir is expected to focus on Amy's experience with boundaries: emotional, spiritual, and familial. Throughout her adult life, she has spoken about the importance of setting limits for mental and emotional well-being. This theme aligns closely with broader cultural conversations about toxic family dynamics and the need for personal healing. Amy appears to be presenting her story as one of overcoming not only societal expectations, but also internalized fear and guilt. Another anticipated focus of the book is her marriage to Dillon and their shared parenting journey. Amy has expressed gratitude for her husband's support and the stability their relationship provides. She has often praised his encouragement in helping her find her voice and stand firm in her beliefs, even when those beliefs placed her at odds with more traditional views. Their parenting philosophy, which leans more mainstream than fundamentalist, is expected to be discussed in the book as a major aspect of her personal evolution. Fans of Amy Duggar have also noted her role as an advocate, particularly when it comes to speaking out against abuse. In recent years, Amy has not remained silent in the wake of controversies involving the Duggar family. Without naming names, she has addressed issues of justice, truth, and accountability, topics she plans to tackle in her memoir. She has stated that survivors of trauma and those questioning the structures they grew up in may find resonance in her writing. While Holy Disruptor is likely to raise eyebrows and spark renewed interest in the Duggar family's inner workings, Amy insists that the book is not written with malice. Instead, she describes it as an act of liberation, an effort to tell her truth without fear. She wants readers to understand her motivations, her values, and the spiritual growth that helped her break away from a cycle of silence. The memoir is also part of a broader shift in how former reality TV stars are reclaiming their narratives. In an era where audiences are becoming more critical of curated images and scripted personas, authentic storytelling is gaining traction. Amy's book appears to align with this trend, offering a candid perspective from someone who was often present in the background, but is now choosing to step forward. In addition to her memoir, Amy has begun expanding her personal brand. Her online presence reflects a blend of motherhood, faith, lifestyle, and occasional commentary on current events. She interacts directly with her followers, often sharing encouragement and personal anecdotes. With Holy Disruptor, she's taking this connection to a new level by offering a more in-depth view into her inner world. The memoir is being released through a mainstream publisher, suggesting that there is significant public interest in her story. It also indicates that Amy is looking to reach a wider audience beyond reality TV watchers. She hopes the book will be an inspiration to anyone who has struggled to break free from restrictive environments, whether religious, familial, or cultural. Amy Duggar King is aware that her book will invite criticism. Already, some voices online have questioned her motives, suggesting that she is capitalizing on family fame. Amy, however, has preempted such critiques by stressing the sincerity of her intent. She maintains that this book is not about exploitation but empowerment. For her, writing Holy Disruptor has been both therapeutic and necessary, a way to honor the person she has become. The release of the memoir will likely prompt a broader dialogue about individual autonomy, religious freedom, and the long-term effects of public scrutiny. While the Duggar name carries weight in both entertainment and evangelical circles, Amy's memoir stands as a reminder that identity is not defined by bloodlines or reality TV portrayals. It is formed through conscious choices, deep introspection, and the courage to speak truthfully. As the book's launch approaches, promotional interviews, excerpts, and social media engagements are expected to increase. Supporters are hopeful that Amy's voice will bring light to areas often left in shadow. For those who have followed her journey from the periphery of the Duggar empire to a woman forging her own way, Holy Disruptor will likely serve as a powerful narrative of growth and grace. In an industry that often rewards silence and conformity, Amy Duggar King's decision to write this memoir is notable. It reflects a growing movement among former reality TV personalities to use their platforms for more than just entertainment. Whether one views her as a disruptor, a survivor, or simply as someone with a unique perspective, there is no doubt that Amy's story is one she believes is worth telling. Ultimately, Holy Disruptor is not just the story of Amy Duggar King. It is a reflection of anyone who has struggled to be heard, fought to break generational cycles, and sought to live life with authenticity and boldness. With this book, Amy is doing more than stepping into the spotlight. She's redefining what it means to speak one's truth in the face of tradition, expectation, and silence.